Menglong's former manager son Derong vows to get justice. The rain had just begun to fall over Beijing when a silver car pulled up outside an abandoned film studio once owned by Dragon Eye Media. Inside the car sat son Derong, Menglong's first manager, the man who discovered him, guided him, and for weeks, stayed silent after his death. Tonight, that silence ended. For the first time since Menglong's death, Sun faced the cameras again, his voice trembling yet resolute. "They told me to forget him," he said softly, eyes glimmering in the drizzle. "But I've carried the truth in my chest like a stone. It's time I throw it." And with that, a new chapter in the Menglong mystery began, one filled with raw grief, righteous fury, and revelations that would send shockwaves through China's entertainment world. The man who vanished from the industry. Sun Derong had disappeared from public life months after Yu's funeral. Once hailed as one of China's most intuitive talent managers, he left the scene quietly, refusing all interviews, ignoring all calls. Rumors said he'd fled abroad. Others claimed he'd been silenced. But those who knew him said he'd been living near the outskirts of Chengdu, in a small house surrounded by bamboo and fog. Until now. A new video surfaced on the night of October 10th, time-stamped 11:44 p.m., showing Sun standing in the ruins of Studio 12, the same location where Menglong had filmed his final unfinished drama Shadow season. The sound of thunder echoed as Sun looked into the lens and said, "He didn't fall. He was pushed. And the people who pushed him are still working." Within an hour, the clip had been viewed over 12 million times. "I was told to sign the lie." In his statement, Sun detailed events leading up to Menglong's death, painting a chilling picture of manipulation, cover-ups, and corporate fear. "The day after the incident," he recalled, "they brought me into a white room. No windows. Just a stack of papers. I was told, sign this. It confirms it was an accident. You'll protect his image and yours." He said he refused, at first. But when the company threatened to blacklist every actor under his management, he caved. "I thought I was protecting his legacy, but I was burying it." His voice cracked on the word burying. For a moment, the camera caught the reflection of tears, illuminated by lightning through a shattered window pane. The missing hard drive. What shocked viewers most wasn't just Sun's confession, it was the evidence he carried. He held up a charred hard drive, wrapped in foil, claiming it was salvaged from Yu's dressing room 2 days after the accident. "They told me everything inside was corrupted," Sun said. "But I know the sound of his voice. I heard him." He plugged the drive into an old laptop as the live stream continued. A faint humming filled the air, then static. Then came the unmistakable voice of Menglong, distorted but real. "Sun, if you ever hear this, it means they finished it. Don't let them reshoot me." Viewers froze. The phrase reshoot me trended instantly, reigniting the theory that Yu's final footage was digitally altered or replaced before release. The stream cut abruptly after 6 minutes. When it returned, Sun was gone. The reappearance. 2 days later, at exactly 9:33 a.m., Sun appeared on Weibo with a verified post. "You can silence a voice, but not an echo. I'm meeting the lawyers. The real investigation starts today." Attached was a photo of him outside a law firm in Beijing, the same firm that had once represented Dragon Eye Media. Inside sources claim he filed for a criminal review of the accidental death report originally issued for Menglong in 2021. His petition cites newly uncovered communications, digital tampering, and coerced statements from former staff. For fans who had long demanded justice, Sun's words were lightning striking dry wood. Everything reignited at once. The letter he never sent. That night, a former assistant of Sun's leaked an email draft allegedly written by him but never sent. It was addressed to Menglong's mother. It read, "Auntie, I failed to protect him. They offered me money, influence, silence. I took their silence and wore it like armor. But guilt doesn't rest. Every night I hear his last rehearsal in my head, the way he said, 'cut,' before anyone called the word. That's how I know. He saw what they planned." The message ended with, "Tell the world to look at the reflection, not the image. That's where the truth hides. That final line spread like wildfire. Within hours, the hashtag look at the reflection gathered over 40 million mentions. A secret meeting in the old studio. Days later, journalists traced Sun's movements to a quiet meeting inside an old rehearsal hall in Beijing's Fangshan district. Witnesses reported hearing raised voices, the sound of something being smashed, and a woman shouting, "You'll destroy us all." Minutes later, Sun emerged, holding a folder stamped confidential. Mirror Lake Project. The Mirror Lake name had already haunted previous investigations, rumored to be Dragon Eye's secret AI program for preserving celebrity likenesses posthumously. Sun didn't confirm its contents, but he looked straight into a nearby camera and said, "You never consented." They made him sign papers during his fever. He didn't even know what they meant. He paused. They wanted to keep his face, even if he was gone. The statement sent the entire Chinese entertainment industry into panic. Stocks of Dragon Eye Media plummeted by 37% overnight. The email archives. 3 nights later, an anonymous hacker collective calling themselves the Afterlight Network released over 400 encrypted emails allegedly exchanged between Dragon Eye executives. One email, dated May 27, 2021, 5 days before Yu's death, read, "Subject has expressed intent to withdraw. We will proceed under protocol beta. Public perception manageable with manager compliance." The manager mentioned? Sun Derong. Another, sent hours after Yu's passing, stated, "Ensure footage is retained for version C. Replace line 48 audio with archive sync. The illusion must remain perfect." The world was horrified. What version C meant, no one knew, but experts speculated it referred to a reconstructed version of Yu's final scene that was digitally reassembled to conceal discrepancies. The proof of consent. In the following week, Dragon Eye Media held a press conference denying all accusations. They produced what they claimed was a signed consent form, authorizing the use of Yu's digital likeness. But within hours, forensic experts from Shanghai's Cyber Integrity Unit analyzed the document and discovered something startling. The signature's stroke pattern matched Yu's older autographs, but the date format did not. It used an ISO date system introduced only months after his death. The signature, they concluded, had been digitally replicated. Sun's response was immediate. He posted a statement reading simply, "You forged his ghost." The fire at Dragon Eye. Just as tension reached its peak, reports broke that a fire had erupted at Dragon Eye's data storage facility in Haidian. Witnesses described explosions and thick black smoke rising into the night sky. Authorities called it an electrical fault. But Sun Derong believed otherwise. He appeared live from the scene, coughing through the smoke. It was close to midnight when Sun Derong returned to the old apartment he once shared with Menglong during his trainee years. The building, an aging block hidden behind Beijing's glimmering towers, stood as a relic of another era, a place where laughter, ambition, and sleepless nights once echoed through narrow halls. Now, the only sound was rain tapping against the window. Sun sat by Yu's old desk, a cup of untouched tea cooling beside him. The smell of old wood and dust lingered, along with something else, a faint trace of Yu's cologne, the same one he wore during his first audition. He opened a leather-bound notebook, one of the few things he'd kept since that time. On the first page was a line written in Yu's handwriting. "If I ever stop smiling, find out why." Sun traced the letters with his fingers. His expression hardened. "I will, Menglong. I swear I will." The file named Ember. 2 weeks after his explosive confession, Sun Derong had become both a hero and a target. While fans praised him for speaking up, the corporations he named had begun tightening their defenses. But Sun wasn't backing down. Late one night, while reviewing the fragments of Yu's recovered files, his tech assistant, Lin Hao, noticed something strange. Hidden inside the corrupted hard drive was a file marked Ember_22, AVI, encrypted, mislabeled, and time-stamped just 1 hour before Yu's declared time of death. "Someone hid this on purpose," Lin whispered. "It's like a ghost file." When they finally managed to decrypt it, the screen filled with static, and then Yu appeared. He was sitting in his dressing room, pale but composed, staring straight into the mirror. The lights flickered as he whispered something under his breath. They said it ends tonight. But endings can be rewritten. The recording cut abruptly after 12 seconds. Sun's hands trembled. He replayed it again and again. He knew, he muttered. He knew what they were planning. The clip was leaked online at 2:15 a.m., and within hours, #Menglong trended globally. Fans called it the final message, while others believed it was proof that he was silenced for resisting the studio's plans to digitize his image. The meeting under the bridge. By dawn, Sun received a message from an unknown number. Stop digging, or you'll disappear too. But instead of fear, he felt clarity. He arranged a meeting with a retired Dragon Eye technician known only as Mr. Su. The rendezvous point was under the Shihong Bridge, a forgotten spot where industry workers once met to exchange scripts and deals in secret. Su arrived wearing a long coat and a surgical mask. His hands shook as he handed Sun a flash drive. "This has everything," Su said. "Every email. Every log." They used his image for the Mirror Lake prototype. They told us it was for preservation. But when we questioned the timing, they told us to delete all backups. Sun asked quietly, "So what was Mirror Lake really for?" Su hesitated, then whispered, "Resurrection." They wanted to test if a star could exist without the man. The night raid. Armed with this new evidence, Sun prepared to hand the flash drive over to investigators. But that same night, a group of masked men broke into his Chengdu safe house. CCTV footage shows figures dressed in black storming the property, seizing computers, hard drives, and even personal photographs. Sun managed to escape through the back alley with Lin Hao. "They're trying to erase him all over again," Lin said, panting. Hours later, Sun appeared live on Weibo, broadcasting from an undisclosed location. "They can burn data. They can delete files. But they can't delete the truth." His voice was hoarse, his eyes bloodshot. Behind him, viewers could see boxes labeled Menglong, Evidence and Studio 12 logs. Fans flooded the comments with encouragement. One wrote, "He's fighting like you would have wanted." The hidden contract. Days later, Sun met with an anonymous source inside a small cafe in Shenzhen, a woman who claimed to have worked in Dragon Eye's legal division. She handed him a faded document titled Supplemental Clause 47B, Continuity Rights. The clause detailed the studio's right to digitally reconstruct or reproduce a performer's likeness in perpetuity, provided a manager or representative's consent was obtained posthumously. Sun froze. His name was on the document. His forged signature gleamed in black ink. "They made me sign this," he whispered, tears welling. "They used my silence to legalize his ghost." He clenched the papers. No more silence. The press conference. On October 28th, Sun Derong appeared before a packed hall of journalists. His eyes were tired, his suit rumpled, but his voice carried the weight of conviction. He laid the contract on the podium. Cameras flashed. "This is the proof of corruption," he declared. They wanted to turn him into property, a hologram, a puppet. But he was a human being. And they killed him because he said no. He then played a clip, used voice from Ember_22, Avi, echoing across the silent room. "They said it ends tonight. But endings can be rewritten." The audience gasped. Some reporters openly wept. Moments later, Sun lifted his gaze and said, "I'm rewriting it now." The mysterious call. After the conference, Sun received another anonymous call. The voice on the other end was distorted, mechanical, but what it said made him freeze. "Stop searching for justice. Look under the piano." That night, Sun broke into Yu's preserved apartment, untouched since the day of his death. Dust covered everything, yet the piano in the corner seemed oddly clean. When Sun opened the lid, a folded letter was hidden inside. It was addressed simply, "For Sunday." The letter, written in Yu's handwriting, read, "If they take my name, keep my truth. If they change my face, remember my soul. Don't save me, Derong, save what's real." Tears streamed down Sun's cheeks as he whispered, "I promise." The world reacts. Within 24 hours, global outlets picked up the story. The letter was authenticated by handwriting experts, and its discovery reignited protests outside Dragon Eye Media's Beijing headquarters. Hashtags like #JusticeForYumenlong and #SaveWhat'sReal dominated every platform. Even veteran actors began speaking out. Famous director Lee Jin-hong posted, "We built an empire on faces, not humanity. Sun Derong is reminding us of what we lost." The final message. The continuation of Sun's journey has taken on a near-mythic tone. He now travels under police escort, with ongoing investigations under national scrutiny. But late one evening, during an exclusive interview with Beijing Mirror News, he revealed something no one expected. He played a short voice memo from his phone, the last voicemail Menglong ever sent him, hours before his death. "Derong, if anything happens to me, don't cry. Turn the lights on. Make sure they see everything." Sun looked at the interviewer, eyes heavy but alive. "He told me to make them see. That's what I'm doing. The promise that won't die." Now, months after reopening the investigation, Sun Derong's vow continues to echo across the digital world. He visits Yu's grave weekly, always carrying flowers and a flash drive. Locals say he speaks softly to the headstone before leaving. And somewhere between the lightning and the silence, the world remembered. Justice isn't given. It's fought for. And for Menglong, Sun Derong isn't finished fighting yet.